Hey, I'm Makaila.
And I'm Nick.
And this is a completely legitimate movie podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of a completely legitimate movie podcast. Today, we are going to be reviewing Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yes, and as a housekeeping note, it shouldn't pick it up, but if you can hear it, we are recording this on 4th of July. So if you hear what sounds like fireworks, it is fireworks.
Yeah, it's fireworks. We're recording a little early because we got some stuff going on. Want to make sure we get this up on time for all of you, both of you.
I was going to say, we know you're waiting for more.
Yeah.
No, we have 3 listeners now confirmed.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
3 real life actual people are listening to this schlock. No, I'm just kidding.
And we love them for it. All right. Well, let's dive in here. Makaila, walk us through the research.
Yeah. So, perks of being a wallflower. A freshman enters high school, nervous from past events and unsure about his new life. He befriends a group of misfit seniors. It was released September 21st, 2012. It is directed by Steven Chabatsky, and he actually wrote the screenplay because he is also the author of the book that this is based off of. It's kind of one of those rare adaptations where we have the author of the book making the movie, writing the script. I feel most authors usually have their hand in it in some capacity, but he really was like, no, this is my movie. You're not
Right.
fucking this
He
up. Yeah. We have Logan Lerman as Charlie, and I know he has done so many things since Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, but that's what I knew him most from when this movie came out, and I had such a crush on him, so that's what I'm going with. And someone out there is rolling their eyes, but if you know, you know, you know? So we also have Ezra Miller, who plays Patrick. They are known for other roles such as Credence Barebone in the Fantastic Beasts movies, as well as Barry Allen in The Flash. We actually watched that while we were on our cruise.
Yeah,
I feel like
wasn't great.
you did not like it, but I was like, this is kind of shitty, and I love everything about it. But
So bad it was good.
yes, Emma Watson plays Sam, and
She's never been in anything, right? This was her first role.
this was her first role, breakout role. She played Hermione, of course, in the Harry Potter films. And so we also have Paul Rudd, who plays Mr. Anderson, and I'm going to do the same thing for Paul Rudd that we did for Will Ferrell when we reviewed Will and Harper. Favorite Paul Rudd movie?
Okay.
No, I'm asking.
Oh, you're asking me? I love you,
favorite?
man.
That is such, and I don't know, I felt really like you were going to say that. That's what I thought your answer was going to be.
It almost made my top 5 list of movies. It's number 6.
Yeah, it is really good.
It's a good movie. But yeah, I Love You, Man is a great movie.
Yes. Yes. And then mine is This Is 40. Fucking love that movie. That's one of my comfort movies. I feel like you'll come back from karaoke, and that's like usually the movie I've put on to fall asleep to, which so that would be my favorite Paul Rudd movie. Okay, moving on to awards. Did you want to do this part since you did the research for it?
Yeah. Sure. Sure. The awards that this got nominated for a few Critics' Choice Awards. Logan Lerman got a nominee for Best Younger Actor or Actress. Best Adapted Screenplay nomination for Steven Chabatsky adapting his book, of course. It was the 2013 GLAAD Award winner for Outstanding Movie. It had some MTV Movie Award nominations, but no wins. For Best Female Performance for Emma Watson. Best Breakthrough Performance for Ezra Miller, a Best Kiss nominee for Logan and Emma Watson, a Best Musical Moment nominee for Emma Watson. It didn't win anything there, though, but it did get the People's Choice Award 2013 Favorite Dramatic Movie winner. It also won a few things at the Teen Choice Awards, Best Movie and Drama, Actor for Logan Lerman, and Actress in a Drama for Emma Watson. It was also nominated by the Writers Guild of America for Best Adapted Screen.
And
so lots of accolade.
Yes. All right. And with that, let's get into it.
Yeah. Let's jump right in. My initial thoughts as the movie opens that I thought this movie was like from the 80s. I thought this movie was really old, and I was shocked it came out in 2012. I don't know why. I think I mixed it up with like a picture of Dorian Gray or something, or some movie that had the guy from Scrubs in it. which still wouldn't
That's
be
a
that
while.
old, but I thought for some reason, I thought this was just, like, a really old movie, and it's not.
No, it is like, it does take place in the past, but not quite as old as you were thinking.
Yeah.
And I forget what the fuck I was gonna say.
A lot of
Hold
editing
on.
so far. Yeah, we got a lot of editing so far.
Is it?
Yeah, we open to the
No,
main
I was gonna say something.
could never do a live episode.
We could
Oof.
if you could stop talking over me.
Alright.
No, anyway. Okay. Okay. It's funny that you say that though, because I, for whatever reason, thought that this movie came out when I was in high school, and it didn't.
About, like, the
I
year a few years after you graduated.
Yeah, it was 2012 that this movie came out, and for whatever reason, I swear my friends that I had in high school, we were obsessed with this movie, and I think it's because a lot of the characters remind me of my friends, so or at least specifically the friends that I had in high school, and so it's like, maybe in my brain, I just thought that it had come out in high school because it just felt real.
The main character opens the movie writing to somebody, a friend who is unnamed, probably doesn't exist. I think he says as much. Like, I think this is a therapy exercise where he writes a letter to an imaginary friend or something about how he's a weird kid. It's summer break, didn't talk to a single person except his parents, and he starts high school tomorrow.
Yeah. And he talks about how he's envisioning his last day of high school as his first day of high school, but he says he has 1,385 days until he graduates. We see him kind of going through the school, and he was hoping that his sister would let him sit with her, but she's in a club and she said members only.
His sister is Mia from Degrassi.
Yes, yes, who has an actual name, but and
That
has done many
doesn't matter.
things,
She's
but to
Mia from
us,
Degrassi.
yes, she will always be Mia from Degrassi. I am sorry.
You're like, she did Vampire Diaries. Who cares? She was Mia in Degrassi.
Anyway,
Even his old friend from middle school is just too cool for him now. Won't let him
yeah.
sit with him.
Yeah. So he's in shop class and we meet Patrick, who is a senior, and he draws a goatee on his face and is clearly making fun of their teacher. And he is a senior, but he's taking a freshman class. And I feel like 'cause the teacher walks in and is like, "Oh, great, you're in my class." And I don't know about you, but I feel like there's always that class you have where it's that one student and that one teacher, and there's going to be shenanigans in this class. Like, they're going to get under the teacher's skin, and you're just kind
Yeah.
of, like, eating your imaginary popcorn waiting to see how it goes down.
Yeah, any elective where there were students from all grades in there,
Yeah.
the older ones love to kind of give shit to a teacher and almost like put on this show, which I'm sure
Oh,
is
yeah.
really annoying for the teacher.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, I had my French teacher, there was a senior in that class, and I remember distinctively one time he flipped over the desk. Like, the desk was connected to the chairs, that kind of desk.
Yeah, of course.
So he flipped it over and was pretending it was a rocket.
Mm,
And the teacher, she just went with it, like, she was the coolest teacher ever. So, I don't know, this felt very reminiscent of high school.
yeah. Well, at some point, the teacher gives Patrick the nickname Nothing.
Yes.
And this is important because
Yes.
people give this guy shit, give Patrick shit, and refer to him as Nothing throughout.
Yes.
We cut to our main character who we're not given his name yet, as he has advanced English. He opens up his trapper keeper or his binder and is called a slur by some girl who he's like, and believe it or not, she has straight A's. She's just the worst.
Nerds can be assholes too.
Yeah, she is. Anyway, the class is taught by Paul Rudd. He's making him read To Kill a Mockingbird, which is a classic.
But also, can I just say, and maybe it's because I had totally different books in my AP English class. To
Mhm.
Kill a Mockingbird, I feel like that was our normal 8th or ninth grade book for required reading. For advanced English, I was kind of just like, man, you're really taking it easy on them, huh?
Well, see, I was in advanced English throughout high school. We read the same books as the normal class, but
Mm,
our assignments and the class discussions were different. So that's
interesting.
maybe it was that kind of structure.
That could be true. And I didn't think about that because I didn't have that experience. So that is a good point.
There you go. Well, so Mr. Anderson, Paul Rudd, asks some questions. He's walking around the room, basically saying, you can get out of a quiz. I'll give you an A on something if you can get this right. He walks by the main character and sees that he's written down the right answer on his paper, but he won't say it. So as class ends, Mr. Anderson tells him that, hey, you should participate. Are you worried about being the teacher's pet? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and, Mr. Anderson tries to, like, give him this good advice about making friends and all of that, and Charlie's just like, "If my English teacher is the only friend I make today, that would be kind of depressing."
Yeah. We cut to main character's house, and it's a bitchin' house. He lives in a nice house. Like, his parents are doing okay. We learn his name is Charlie. We finally get a name drop for him. Mia's boyfriend, and her name's not Mia. I just keep referring to as Mia from Degrassi. Her name's Candace.
Candace,
Uh,
yes, and
Candace
her
Mia from
boyfriend.
Degrassi, Derek, is at dinner. Dad gives some hokey, be yourself bullshit kind of advice that
You would
you
expect
would
from a dad in the
expect.
'90s.
Yeah, you would expect a dad to give, and it's not like being yourself is bad advice. When you don't fit in, it feels like bad advice because it's like,
Right.
well, this I am being myself and it's not working. It's like,
Right, I'm being myself and they hate it.
yeah, you have to be yourself, but a little confident too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Derek gives some advice too that I didn't even write down what it was because it was shit.
I think I did. Yeah, he says freshman year's tough, but you really find yourself, and the dad is just like, "Thanks, Derek." Just like dad does not like Derek. He's not
And he's
impressed.
he's right to, we learn. That'll come up later.
Yeah.
But he's not wrong. Charlie does find himself. Derek kind of
He's like, "Dude, you were 17 or 18? Like, please be so fucking for real right now.
it's
Like, it's tough, but you really find yourself."
well, it's like when you're 25 and you think you can give this sage advice to the
Yeah, you're
21-year-old.
like, "Gather round, children."
Right. Derek gives, Candace a mixtape, and Candace immediately gives it to Charlie because Derek
Yeah.
makes one every day.
She don't like it.
Yeah, she's not a fan. Uh, we kinda cut to Charlie walking through the halls, and he's shoved into a bathroom and bullied for doing his homework.
By the same
Like a nerd.
girl.
Yeah. She asks him if he did the assignment. He doesn't even say anything, and, like, 4 guys just swarm him and shove him into the bathroom, and I was like, "What? You have straight A's. Don't you do your homework, bitch?" I don't know. High school is never as bad as movies depict it.
Yeah,
It's nothing
yeah,
is ever like, it's so exaggerated. I get it. It's a movie. It has to be. High school's not like that, or at least it wasn't my
I was
experience.
gonna say someone's listening right now, like, "Wow, talking from your
Shoved in
privilege."
I got shoved into a bathroom by 4 dudes. No, I was a
Yeah.
nerd too.
Know what the fuck I was. I feel like our school had cliques, but they didn't. Everyone mingled, but everyone didn't mingle. So there weren't like nerds. There were like people who were in band who also happened to be smart. I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't like clicky like you see in movies.
Well, it's
So when I
never.
see things like this, it's like I don't think we really like picked on the nerds. Mainly my school just picked on the gay kids. So maybe the nerds got a pass. I don't know.
Yeah, high school's never as clicky. Like, there's friend groups,
Yeah.
but it's never as so clear cut as it makes it in movies. And maybe movies have to do that.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I was just, like, the other category, I don't know, I wasn't, like, a nerd, I was just
Sure.
there.
Yeah, who knows? Well, Charlie still sits alone at lunch, which is unrealistic because there are not that many tables in a high school cafeteria.
No.
He would be sitting on the end of some table with
Right.
like 3 seats away.
Well, I remember, like, at lunch, there was this kid who sat with us, we never talked to him,
Exactly.
ever, but he always sat at our lunch table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Charlie goes to a football game for some reason. Maybe he just wants to fit in.
I feel like do you know what I think his dad was like, "Go out there, champ, and go make some friends, just be yourself," and
Yeah. Yeah, dad dropped him off at the game and made him go.
Yeah, I think he was there because he either A, didn't wanna be at his house because then his parents are gonna be like, "How was school? What'd you do today? Did you
Home
make any
alone on a
friends?"
Friday night. What a
Yeah.
loser. I don't know.
No, I don't.
They probably would say that. They
Yeah.
seem nice
So
enough.
I think it was either that his dad was like, "Go on and get out there," or he just didn't wanna be at home. So he was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna go to the football game.
Just go.
It's this or the library, and they close at 7." So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he spies Patrick in the stands. A few girls walk by Patrick and call him nothing, and Charlie kind of, gathers up his courage, moves up the stands,
Yeah,
and
very
start
clearly trying to, like, sit with Patrick without being obvious about
yeah.
it.
It works though. Patrick, talks him up, thanks Charlie for not calling him nothing, because Charlie uses his actual name. Then we enter Sam.
We enter Sam. I think you need to say that again a different way.
Sam enters the movie,
Yeah, there we go.
walking up the stands, chatting up Patrick, and we see Charlie's point of view where he first sees her, and it's like,
Angelic.
yes, like the gods have placed her there.
Yeah, and it's Emma Watson, so, like, let's be real, they probably did.
So they invite Charlie to go eat something after a game. They go to King's, and I wasn't sure at first if that was someone's house or a diner. It's a diner.
So, when they get to King's, right, the
Mhm.
football team comes in,
Yeah.
and we see Patrick look at the football team in a sort of, like he's looking at the quarterback, and you kind of get
Make eye
an
contact.
inkling. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you, like, a I wanna say a tingle?
I didn't feel any tingles watching
No,
this.
no, what am I thinking? What is the word? Like, you get, like,
There's
a
a connection between them.
yeah.
The camera focuses on the two of them looking at each other and noticing each other. So yeah, Patrick and football captain make some eye contact. It's, put made very obvious for us because it's going to be important later. Charlie is asked by Sam if he knows what something is, and he thinks it's a band. So he's like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that." Patrick's like, "Dude, that's not a band. That's a record store."
He doesn't make him feel like an idiot about
He
it.
doesn't, but it's very clear that he wants to be impressive for Sam. So he's like, "Oh yeah, I know what that is." And it's relatable because I feel like anyone's kind of done that before when you're
Yeah.
nervous.
Well, yeah, you're trying to make friends, you want people to like you,
Yeah.
and I feel like, especially when you have, like, anxiety and you're worried already that they don't like you,
Yeah.
so it's like, "Oh, do you like this?" It's like, "Of course I like that," but then
Right.
sometimes it kicks you in the ass and it's like, "No, that's not a band, that's a record store," and it's like,
Oh,
"Fuck."
Charlie got caught in his web of lies very quickly.
The whole movie spirals from there. No, anyway. So he notices this kind of chemistry between Patrick and Sam. And so then he says, you guys are a really cute couple. How long have you been together? And that's where Sam and Patrick like die of laughter and tell him that they're not together, they're step siblings, which, is that's where the chemistry comes from, is they're just really close siblings.
Yeah, they've grown up
Yeah.
with
And
each
that's
other for a while.
I feel like that's how I was with Matt. Like we're not super close now, but that's kind of how we were as kids.
I have 2 sisters, and I love them, but we're not close. Like, you're so close with all of your well, not all of them, but a good chunk of them.
Who?
Matt
Whom?
and
And
Henry's mom, who I can't remember her name.
nah, I'm kind of a shit sibling, if we're gonna be honest. I don't keep in contact with anybody,
I don't
and
either.
that's some of that's not for the podcast, but anyway.
Well, if my sisters listen to this podcast, they'd know I'm fine. Hi, guys.
Anyway,
Eh,
the movie.
anyway, yeah, we're talking about a movie. Is this the tunnel scene, or is that later?
Oh my god.
Is that later?
Later, will you stop skipping ahead?
They drop Charlie off. They thank Charlie for paying, and in my head, I'm like, "Man, what a rookie mistake."
We're just gonna skip over the line that Sam says before they drop him off,
What do they say?
where she's not bulimic, she's a bulimic.
Oh, yeah, Sam loves bulimia, apparently.
Yeah. And that never comes up again. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's explained in the book, and I'm sure it has some sort of, like, little character quirk, but I didn't read the book, and I never have, but I'm just like, "Alright there, Sam, you little weirdo," and then they just take him home.
Yeah, that was such a weird thing to say. So, Charlie walks into the house. He sees Derek and Candace having an argument. Derek
Yeah,
slaps Candace.
she called him mama's boy.
Yeah, so he slaps her.
Yeah.
Which, boo.
Boo.
Boo. That's how we know we don't like Derek. Charlie kind of runs in to intervene. Candace just shoves him out and slams the door on him like, "I got it."
Yeah.
And he goes up to his room, kind of sulks. He has a flashback to his Aunt Helen.
Yeah. Just like a brief one.
Yeah, we learned little bits and pieces of Aunt Helen as the movie proceeds.
Yes, and we see Candace and Derek made up, and Candace says to Charlie that she egged Derek on, to which starts talking about Aunt Helen's boyfriends, and Candace is like, "This is nothing like that. I can handle him. Just don't tell mom and dad."
Right. Well, we skipped the homecoming dance. Char
Homecoming dance.
Yeah, there's a homecoming game and a homecoming dance.
This is true. Edit that out because I'm a fucking idiot.
At the homecoming dance, Charlie is being a wallflower, so this kind of counts as a title drop.
Yeah, because he is a literal wallflower at this point. Like he's up against the wall.
Yeah. He's watching Sam and Patrick, and then Come On Eileen starts playing, and they have a whole ass dance routine.
Oh, yeah, they have practiced this in their living room no less than a dozen times. Their parents are so sick of hearing this song, it's unbelievable, I bet.
Oh, yeah. He is watching her like the smitten simp he is, and he kind of works up the courage to dance his way out to them.
Yeah, and it's the smoothest transitional dance. He's just kind of trying to move with the music.
Yeah, he's a good rhythm.
Yeah, it looks really beautiful filmed. Like I thought that was so good.
Yeah, and they're so happy he's there, and they all dance together, and it's
Yes,
nice. And then they go to a party right after.
at Bob's house. Bob was mentioned at the football game too. This is apparently their like college friend that they hang out with and party with.
He's kind of a periphery character. He's a huge stoner, essentially.
Yeah.
He's kind of comic relief. He doesn't do anything super plot relevant, I think.
Yeah, no.
No.
He's just that's where they go to hang out a lot.
Yeah. So they take Charlie around the party. Patrick introduces Charlie to Mary Elizabeth and Alice,
Yes.
who at first I thought, well, these characters aren't going to be important later. And I was wrong. But they're two goth chicks. And immediately I kind of pegged that they kind of like him a little bit. They're like, look at this cute kid. Because they're giving him shit.
I don't know that I thought like that they liked him at first. I thought it was because they were seniors and he was a freshman, and this was very clearly his like first high school party. So they were just basically treating him like you would treat a toddler. Like it was like
Yeah.
adorable.
Yeah. But I don't know. Bob gives Charlie a pot brownie. He thinks it's a normal brownie,
So of
like an
course,
idiot.
yeah, he eats the
He
whole
eats
thing.
the whole thing, gets incredibly high. Goth girls are laughing at him like he's a puppy. He's sitting on the floor giving very candid answers because he has no filter right now.
Yeah, and
Sam kind of realizes everyone's treating him like a fucking circus attraction.
yeah.
He's like, I want a milkshake. So she takes him upstairs and makes him a milkshake.
You say she takes him upstairs. It's like a three-step drop down living room. She literally just
I thought they
takes
were in a
him.
basement.
No, I don't think they were. Maybe they were.
She takes him
Maybe
to the
you're
kitchen.
right.
She takes him to the kitchen, whether that's a
Again,
whole flight
edit
of
this out because I'm a fucking dumbass.
no, you make a good point, but it could
I
be
think I'm wrong. I think I'm thinking of a different house now. Anyway, no, because Brad Hayes showed up at the party and Patrick left with him, and I think they walked upstairs. But that could have been upstairs to the second level of the house. That doesn't necessarily mean they were in a basement. I'm sticking with
they
it.
go to the kitchen. Sam and Charlie are in the kitchen. How far away is the kitchen? It doesn't matter. They're in the kitchen and she's making him a milkshake. She has broken out whoever's house this is blender. She is using appliances to make him.
And is she gonna wash those dishes,
Oh
or is
no.
Bob expected to do that?
Well, if it's Bob's house, it's absolutely his problem. Charlie, as she's making the milkshake, he compliments her eyes.
Yes.
She asks him about his friends from middle school, and Charlie, because he's high as a kite, expo dumps that his best friend Michael shot himself last May.
Yeah, he just kind of says it very casually.
Right, because he's high.
Yeah,
And Sam's her flabbers are gasted, doesn't know how to respond.
yeah.
And Charlie's just like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Catch you on the flippity flip.
Yep.
So he goes upstairs and finds Patrick with the football captain smooching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Patrick tells Charlie that he can't tell anyone what he sees and like what he saw, not what he sees. And then he notices that Charlie is high. So he's like, all right, I know you're high. I really need you to be serious and promise me that you won't say anything.
Brad doesn't want anyone to know.
Yeah. So Patrick goes back downstairs with Sam
Mhm.
and or so Patrick goes downstairs And Sam tells him that, Charlie told me that his best friend killed himself and I don't think he has any friends. So then Patrick does like what I think is the coolest thing that you could possibly do as a senior, like if you're hanging out with underclassmen, is like he gathers everyone around and he just is like, let's do a toast to Charlie, a toast to new friends. And he says, you see things and you understand you're a wallflower. And Charlie says, well, I didn't think anyone noticed me. And Patrick is like, well, we didn't think there was anyone cool left to meet. So Sam says, welcome to the island of misfit toys. And that's just like, I think that's such a cool scene. Like, I really liked that.
Yeah, well, it made his night.
Yeah, for sure. But just like to think that you're nobody, you're nothing to anybody. And it's like, no, wait, these people actually care about me. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I got friends now.
Right.
They drive home. This is where we get the tunnel scene.
Yes.
As they drive through a tunnel, Sam climbs out of the back window of this pickup truck that Patrick is driving and kind of Titanic poses.
Okay, but you're like, she doesn't, it's not like they're just driving in the car and she's like, you know what? And just like fucking goes out the back
Well,
window.
it's a ritual of
Like,
sorts.
they hear a song, and she's so moved by this song that she's like, "Patrick, you have to take me through the tunnel." So
Hmm.
then we go to the tunnel, and then she does the thing where she goes out the back window of the truck, and she stands, and she kind of just, like, spreads her arms, and it's clearly Heroes playing.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Well, now you have me doubting that that was the song.
I'm not doubting you. I didn't know what the song was.
Do you know the song Heroes?
No.
What the fuck? Okay. Okay. So
Well, I'm
the
going to be
song
listening
that
to.
I think is clearly Heroes, and I hope I'm not wrong. Now I feel like we need to Google this. Anyway, I was so sure. I didn't even get like any sort of confirmation. I was like,
If the tunnel song and perks of being a wallflower is not heroes, please leave us a comment down below and let us know what it is.
right. So
Thank
it's gonna
you.
be like, you fucking idiot.
I'm unsubscribing from this garbage.
Oh my god. So
I
yeah.
think at this point, this is where Charlie really falls in love with her.
Yeah, he's like, holy shit.
He's looking at her like she hung the stars by hand.
Yeah, and I feel like if I was not riddled with anxiety, I would totally slip out the back window of a pickup truck and do exactly what she did if I was just vibing with music, because I love those fucking tunnels with the lights and all of that. When we're going to the zoo, I get so hype about driving through those fucking tunnels.
Yeah.
It was just like, I have too much anxiety to be doing all of that. So, just to be young and free.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a vibe. So Charlie gets home and writes another letter, and he says that Sam's got him listening to music to expand his tastes. Mr. Anderson has been giving him additional books, and he's been writing more papers. He doesn't really specify, like, if he's getting graded on these papers, if they're extra credit. I think he's just doing them for fun. I also don't think it's important, but it was just like something that popped in my head.
Yeah, well, this letter kind of serves as a montage of how good things are going for him right now. He's
Right.
got friends, he's hanging out with Sam and Pat and those goth girls from the party. We learn a little bit about Mary Elizabeth and Alice.
Sam and Pat?
Yeah,
Does anyone in this entire movie call him Pat?
I abbreviated it Pat for my. Yeah, we learn a little bit about Mary Elizabeth and Alice. Not that it matters a ton.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? It's nice to know about characters.
Okay, Mary Elizabeth is a punk Buddhist, and Alice likes vampires and stealing jeans from the mall. Those are his words.
Yeah, I guess. Thanks for summarizing that.
Those are his
Yeah,
words.
I know. He says Mary Elizabeth reminds him of his dad after a long day at work.
Mm,
And Alice does steal jeans, but it kind of bothers him that she steals jeans because her family is rich. So
yeah.
he says he tries not to judge because of how supportive they both are and how they were there for Patrick when he went through a difficult time. So he eventually gets Patrick to open up about this, and
Yeah,
we
we
find
get the
out,
Patrick lore.
yeah, that he and Brad used to basically only be able to like be together if Brad had been drinking. And it got to the point where Brad was like drinking all the time and
Yeah, just
was
wasted
just
constantly.
wasted. Patrick, like, helped him get sober,
Yeah, and
and, of
what
course, like, his friends were there to help him through that.
yeah, and we learned that every time they would fool around and Brad would get really drunk, he'd keep crying and saying, "My dad's gonna kill me, my dad's gonna kill me."
Yeah, and then, like, the next day, he would be like, "Oh, I'm so wasted, like, I don't remember doing anything."
Yeah.
It's just, like, struggling with your sexuality.
Right. So they got Brad sober, but the 2 were still kinda dating in secret.
Yeah, but Patrick says that he's okay with that because at least, like, Brad doesn't have to get drunk to be with him.
Yeah.
And while this is being talked about like, a cute little, I guess, moment, we see Patrick and Brad go to the bookshelves and pass a note to each other, so that just kind of nods to, like, yes, they are very much together, but it's very hush hush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie makes Sam a mixtape like a simp, 'cause that's what you do in the '90s.
Yeah. Well, we
And
had mixed CDs, so
yeah.
it carries on. I don't know what they do now. Spotify playlist?
Yeah,
I was did
you send your maybe they send their crush, like, a Spotify playlist they made, like, "Oh, these songs
yeah.
make me think of you." I don't know, we could ask one of our kids, they don't
Well, and I also don't think they're at that age.
maybe. They go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show performed live. It's called Punk Rocky. The high school seniors are playing the characters, doing the dance numbers. Patrick plays what's Tim Curry's character's name? I am drawing a blank. Dr. Frankenfurter? Thank you.
Sorry, I was like, I know if I stare at you like this long enough, it'll come to you.
That's so rude. Anyway, sits on Charlie's lap for the show, like, because Charlie's in the front row to support his friends. Charlie's watching Sam, of course, the whole time as she's performing. Has a good old time.
Right.
Yeah.
And Brad is in the audience as well.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is.
And then after the show, we meet Craig, Sam's pretentious college boyfriend.
Oh,
And he really is, and by the way, because I'm gonna call him Ponytail Derek because that's what Patrick and Sam call him, and I love
yeah.
it. But it's like the whole thing with Ponytail Derek telling Charlie, "Oh, you really find yourself in ninth grade," which is Sam, her boyfriend, has done probably 1 year of, like, college, maybe. Like, it's not like he's a senior who's about to get his diploma,
Yeah.
and he literally acts like these are children. Like,
Mhm.
he is the most sophisticated person in the room, and it's just like, "What a fucking tool." But anyway, so they're talking about the SATs.
Yeah, Sam did very poorly.
Yes, she did. And yeah, Mary Elizabeth got like a 1480, and Sam, I think, did so bad that we didn't even get her score.
No, but she needs it. I think she wanted to go to NYU?
Penn State.
Penn State, thank you.
Yeah.
And Charlie says he will help her study to retake it. And at this point, it should be very obvious to Sam that he's completely smitten with her.
And I think it is, but I think she's treating it just like puppy love sort of thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
She doesn't really read too much into it. So he gives her the mixtape that he made, and he says it was based off The Night in the Tunnel. And she's looking at it and says, "Oh, you have really good taste for being a freshman. I used to listen to the worst top 40." Then it cuts to Sam slow dancing with Craig, and they're slow dancing to the mixtape that Charlie gave to Sam.
Ouch. Ouch.
We kind of see Patrick and their group of friends shit talking Craig to just be like, well, he's not as bad as the other people that Sam has been with. And Patrick says, that she makes herself small for guys she likes and that he just wishes that she wouldn't do that. So you just kind of get this notion that, like, Sam's dating history has not been great. She goes out with a lot of people like Craig, or at
Mhm.
least similar to that, just people that don't really, like, care about her.
Yeah.
And then to, like, add fuel to that fire, Craig comes up and is like, "Man, this mixtape sucks," and
Puts on
takes it
some
out and puts on some top 4. Oh my
yeah,
god, what
just
is that song that they're dancing to?
"You
You
got
got
it,
it,
you
you
want
want
it, baby, you"
supposed
bust a
to
move.
move. Anyway, so yeah, it's just funny that he, like, literally puts on the same shit that Sam was just making fun
Just
of,
complaining
and
about
she dances to it.
yeah,
So
making
it
herself
just
small.
yeah. And then oh, go ahead.
I
Sorry,
was
no,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
the next day, Charlie's in Mr. Anderson's class, and he says to him, "Paul Rudd, why do nice people date the wrong people?" And I happen to note that it's like that's dangerously close to some incel thinking, Charlie. Ooh, but
What
this
do you mean by that? Expound.
it almost seems like nice guy rhetoric.
I guess it could.
I'm saying it's getting there. I'm not like it's not the worst thing you can ask because sometimes yes, people make bad dating choices.
Yes.
But like to generalize it like that, I think kind of comes close to like nice guy rhetoric. But he never goes that way and it's
Right.
Paul Rudd's, wise answer is we accept the love we think we deserve,
Which is, like,
which
such a
is
great fucking
it's
line.
a great line and I think it's very true to real
Yeah.
life.
And then Charlie asks, "Well, can we make them know that they deserve more?" And then Mr. Anderson says, "We can try." So I think that kind of, like, sets off a light bulb in Charlie's head where, like, I am going to try to make Sam see that she is better than what she's, like, giving herself.
Yeah.
Like, she's worth more than that.
We see Charlie and Sam start meeting at the diner to study,
Yes.
and we kind of get a little bit of fade out that they've been doing this for a while because now the diner's hanging up Christmas decorations.
Yeah, well, and when she gets to the cafe the initial time too, he ordered her breakfast. So that's just kind of, I think, starting that, like, little thing that he was talking about with, like, Mr. Anderson.
Oh, I pay attention to the things you like.
Yeah, like, "I wanna make sure you eat, we're studying," that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then it's Christmas, and Charlie asks his dad for 20 bucks, and I think his dad is just, like, so elated that he has friends that his dad's like, "20? Here's 50."
Yeah.
So,
Well,
like
it's funny because at first Charlie asked for I think 30,
Yeah.
and Dad's like, "You're asking for 20 bucks. What do you need 10 bucks for?" He keeps
Yeah.
lowering the amount, and
I
then
didn't catch that. That's right, you're
yeah,
right.
he's doing like a classic kinda like just dad bullshit joke, and then Charlie's like, "Well, my friend's doing a secret Santa thing, and we're all gonna meet up," and, like so Dad, of course, is just elated, it's like, "My son actually fucking has friends?
Yeah.
Here's 50 bucks."
Right, and do I look like an ATM? Son of a bitch, here's 50 bucks, like, yeah.
Yeah,
So, Mr. Anderson for Christmas gives Charlie his favorite book, and it's his own personal copy. So then it's time for shop. The teacher sees Patrick's clock, and
it's
you
awful.
yeah, it's awful, and you can see by, like, the way the teacher's looking at it is like, "Are you fucking kidding me with this shit?" And Patrick's like, "If you fail me, you'll have me again next year." So then we just see Patrick holding up his grade and C minus, and he's like, "I am below average." He's like so excited because now he gets to graduate because he doesn't have to take shop again.
Right.
And then studying has been paying off. Sam gets a 1210 for her SAT, so she can apply to Penn State.
Yeah. And she's so happy. She thanks Charlie. They do their gift exchange for Secret Santa. Charlie got Patrick for Secret Santa, and Patrick describes Charlie's gifts as so gay.
Yeah, he's like, "They're so gay, I may have gotten them for myself."
Yeah, but he loves them obviously.
Yeah.
And Patrick got Charlie for Secret Santa, and they got Charlie a whole ass suit.
Yeah, and so they're, like, asking him who he thinks his Secret Santa was too, and he says Mary Elizabeth, and she's like, "Why would you think I would get that?" And then he's like, because you're bossy." So it was just like, I don't know, they're all having fun laughing together. Patrick got in the suit because he said all great writers used to wear suits.
Yeah.
And then he says the rest of it is in the bathroom. So Charlie goes to the bathroom to put everything on and grab the last part of the outfit. And he gives Sam something and he says, "Hey, pass these out. These are for everybody." To which Mary Elizabeth is like, "We weren't supposed to get everyone gifts. What is this?" And Patrick's like, "Mary Elizabeth, why are you trying to eat Christmas?"
Right. She was kinda like Sheldon, like, now there's an obligation.
Yeah, like, great. Now I have to get gifts for everybody.
Right.
So Charlie apparently is just like the best gift giver and got really thoughtful gifts for everyone.
And so after the party, Sam takes Charlie, suit and all, to go to her room because she got him something.
Yeah, to say thank you for all of his help.
Yeah, she got him a typewriter, a whole ass typewriter.
Yes,
for
but
his writing.
I feel like in the 90s, it probably wasn't cheap for her to get that, but,
No.
like, I have wanted a typewriter for as long as I can fucking remember, and I remember being 12, and I saw one at a garage sale, and it was, like, I wanna say it was, like, 50 bucks, like, at a garage sale. My
Yeah, that's
parents were
expensive.
like, "That's so much money, we're not getting you that." I was like, "Ah," and now you try to get them, and they're like 500, 600, and I'm just like, "Oh, you guys ruined my life." No, I'm just kidding. Well, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, not for that.
So, yeah, I'm like, "Oh my god, it's like the coolest fucking gift ever." It says, "Write about us," and he types, "I will." And then, we get, like, a nod that it's going to be Charlie's birthday, and Sam and Patrick are going out of town to visit her dad.
Yeah, uh, which she doesn't wanna do.
No, she has described her dad as not great. So,
Yeah. We get a little bit of Sam's backstory. She asks Charlie if he's ever been kissed before, and he's like, "No." And they talk about Sam's first kiss, which was not good. Sam explains that she used to lower herself for a lot of guys. And I think earlier in the movie, too, there's a little bit of just background information that Sam kind of has a bad reputation.
yeah, for things that happened when she was a freshman.
Yeah. Charlie talks about I forget why it comes up, but Charlie talks about his aunt
Because I
turning her life
think
ar because she used to
yeah,
do the same thing.
yeah, like, she used to date really terrible people, like, basically, he's like, "You know, that reminds me a lot of my Aunt Helen.
Yeah.
She's also a train wreck." No, just
Yeah, but she turned her life around, and Sam gives Charlie his first kiss because she wants his first kiss to be from someone who loves him, and I'm thinking, "Oh, great. They're smooching. This is kind of a love confession. This is great." But it's, only halfway through the movie. I'm like, "Oh, no. This is gonna go to shit."
well, and she says too, "You know I'm with Craig,
Yeah.
so, like, don't read too much into this, but I just wanna make sure you have a good first kiss and that it's not, shitty like mine was."
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I think it's, like, that acknowledgement too, like, she knows how Charlie feels.
Yeah.
But again, I think going back to, like, what Mr. Anderson said, if we accept the love we think we deserve, so she doesn't think she deserves good love. So,
Right.
yeah. She's like, "I'll give you a kiss," but, like, that's where it ends.
Well, and conversely, Charlie doesn't think he's good enough for her.
Right.
So it's a whole
Yeah.
it's a mess.
And then Charlie goes to leave, and Patrick gives Charlie his clock
Yep.
as a
This
gift.
horrible shop clock.
Yeah.
Christmas comes around, and Charlie and Candace's oldest brother, Chris, comes home, and he seems to be a pretty decent brother. All these siblings seem to have a okay relationship with each other.
Yeah, but I did get the feeling that, like, Chris is kind of the golden boy, and not just because he's the football player,
Right? He plays college
but it's like
football.
they kind of are like, "This is our successful kid, so if we fuck up the other 2, no big deal."
Got at least one right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we get another flashback, and it's Aunt Helen telling Charlie that she's gonna go get Charlie's birthday present. And then we're back in present time,
Yep.
and Charlie's talking to Chris, and Chris is talking about how much he misses mom's cooking, and I'm like, "Will that be our kids? Do you think
No.
that they will be like, 'Man, I really miss this fucking'"
They might miss certain meals
Yeah,
because
they're
all the
they're never gonna
kids
eat another pepper a day in their life.
I wouldn't either. Anastasia might. Anastasia likes peppers.
This is true. She helps me cut them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Not relevant to the movie.
Chris is playing in a bowl game. Obviously, he's very successful. And then he kind of just does like a mental health check with Charlie and is like, "Hey, is it bad tonight?" And Charlie says he isn't picturing things anymore. And if he does, he's able to shut it off. So Chris just suggests, "Hey, if it gets bad again, talk to your friends about it," which isn't like bad advice. Like, I feel like that's pretty good advice.
It is, but Charlie hasn't opened up too much to his friends about
Right.
his mental health struggles because this is the first time we get really any indication of what happened to Charlie before the movie started.
Right, and it's like, "Oh, well, I'm not picturing things anymore," and it's like, "Charlie, you were picturing shit?
What
Like,
were you
what?"
picturing?
Right.
we get a little hint at the beginning of the movie he spent time in the hospital before, but
Yeah,
we don't know for what. And
right,
this gives us a little more context that Charlie's had some mental health struggles.
right. So then it's communion time, and then in the smoothest fucking transition ever,
It was a smooth
he
transition.
put so he gets the little Jesus cracker on his tongue.
Communion.
Gets the
He gets
little
communion.
Jesus cracker on his tongue, and it transitions into, like, a little dab of is it acid? Is that what that is? I don't know, I've never done drugs, on his tongue, so it's, like, perfect.
You don't know the drugs or the Jesus cracker's name. It's fine. He goes from Jesus cracker to a drug you put on your tongue. It's fine.
I think yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's okay. He gets high as a kite again
Yeah,
at a
literally,
New Year's
like,
party.
outside shoveling snow in a circle, Sam comes out to check on him, and he's like, "Sam, I gotta get this driveway clean, and then I have to congratulate you," and she's like, "You did. You've done that."
You said this an hour ago and you
Yeah,
did. So
yeah,
she has to take care of Charlie
yeah.
again.
She, like, gives
Charlie
him
is
these
bad at drugs.
glasses like a Big Daddy and is just like, "Here, these'll protect you, put these on." So he's like, "Alright," and they go back inside.
Charlie unfortunately has another drug flashback to Aunt Helen, and this is where we kind of get the smallest inkling Aunt Helen wasn't as cool as he's building her up to be.
Yeah, she's whispering to him in the flashback, "It can be our little secret." Charlie in present day is walking through the woods, and then we get a flashback of Aunt Helen driving away. Charlie starts crying in present day and he's laying in the snow. And then it flashes back again, and we see Aunt Helen is hit from the side by a truck. The police come to the house, and I mean, presumably we can assume she doesn't survive that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how
Like
she
yeah,
died.
the police are there to say like, "Hey, she died."
Yeah.
So, when it flashes back again to present day, Charlie's in the hospital.
Because he passed out in the middle of the fucking snow, which,
Right.
can be deadly.
Yeah.
So the cops are asking him questions and he's lying his ass off
She's like, "Oh,
about
I was just
taking drugs. I was just
so
tired.
yeah,
I
I
was
was so
hot.
tired." They were like, "We found you on the ground at 6 in the morning." He's like, "Yeah, I just needed to sleep."
It was so hot. I felt feverish. I needed cold air.
Yeah, and he's like, "I started seeing things and passed out," and his parents are, of course, like, "You're seeing shit again?" So it's like, they have some sort of inkling that, like, he's seeing shit, but, like, why? Like, what is that? So
I
and they don't really know.
Yeah, I'm shocked he wasn't grounded for this or anything because he was very clearly on drugs. But it's fine. School comes back in session. He wears his suit to school, and this is a mistake because everyone gives him shit. Even Mr. Anderson's like, "You're gonna have a bad day wearing that," but it's fine. After his horrible school day, they go back to the Rocky Horror Picture Show
Yeah.
performance. Someone is missing.
No.
Bob, no,
Yes? I wanna say it's Bob, but now I think I'm wrong.
I don't know. Someone's missing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to say who it was.
Okay,
I
we'll say it's Bob.
but what if he's there? Then I'm a fucking liar.
Charlie performs in the Rocky Horror Picture Show thing, taking someone's place
Yes, as Rocky.
as Rocky, and has a good time, performs well, has his dance number with Sam, and after the show, he is loading a car with Mary Elizabeth,
Yeah.
uh, and she asks him to the Sadie Hawkins
Which
dance.
is so
It's
sweet.
because
She's
she's
like, "Oh, it's, like, super lame."
like, this is such a like. She makes like a political comment about it or
Yeah,
something,
yeah, she's like, "And it's, like, totally sexist, but, like, you wanna go?"
right? And it's just like she's acting all shy. It's like you're the senior and you're
Yeah.
asking out this freshman, but like
So, yeah,
it's
it's pretty
cute.
fucking
I'm
adorable.
shipping them at this point, and then that all goes to shit.
So, she knocks on Charlie's door to pick him up, and mom is like, opens the door and is just mortified because, like, Mary Elizabeth looks like your, like, stereotypical, like, punk.
Yeah,
Like,
she's got
she's
like
got,
shaved
like
part of her head.
yeah, like, she's wearing very, like, dark, heavy makeup. So, ideally, if you're this super well-to-do family, that's not exactly who you wanna open the door to, which is like, "Fuck you." But, whatever.
We would not blink twice if one of our kids brought this
No,
girl
I'd
home.
be
It's
like, "Oh
like,
my
"Oh."
god, a person of culture." Just like
Right, it's
anyway,
you got your punk rock girlfriend, cool, like,
right.
leave the door open.
Anyway, so dad's like, "Charlie tells me you're a Buddhist." And it's like, "Charlie, why would you do that to her?"
Yeah,
It's
this
like you
is
want your parents to, like wanna, like, piss them off a little bit, and so you're like, "Hmm, I'm taking a Buddhist to the dance. Fuck you, dad." But no,
and to be honest, that's about the least cool thing Charlie's dad does in the movie. Like, Charlie's
yeah,
dad's an okay guy, but this was the one thing, it's like,
it's just like he's like
"Dad, come on."
yeah, he's like, "Buddhist, I need you to smile." Like, he just calls her Buddhist the entire time. And
Yeah, it
it's
was
like,
not
"Dad, you
cool.
called her Buddhist and you told her to smile more." Just like, "This is why she hates the patriarchy."
Yeah. Well, we get to the dance, we see Sam's kinda being a wallflower at the dance, so Charlie
Yeah.
goes to
Well,
talk
Craig
to her.
didn't come because he's like, "Stupid fucking high school party. I'm too cool for that."
Well, then don't date a fucking high schooler, you
Right?
college
You
loser.
know? Maybe date someone your own age?
Right, like, God,
I don't know, and I don't know how it was, like, back in the day, because this was before my day that this takes place.
well, yeah.
And it's like, I know when I was in high school, if you were with someone like that, like, I think they had to sign something or your parents had to sign something. Like, they were not allowed to come to the dance if they were not in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I guess that he didn't wanna come, but it's like, you weren't invited anyway. No, anyway. So
Yeah.
I thought, like, Charlie goes to talk to her, and I'm like, "Okay, he's a good friend," but Mary Elizabeth sees him talking to Sam, and it's kind of that moment where she looks sad. Like,
Yeah.
he's
Like,
talking to Sam.
I brought Charlie, and he's talking to Sam, and
Yeah,
it's not cool.
right.
My note is that Charlie's fumbling here, but Mary Elizabeth takes him home. They have a little wine. Mary Elizabeth lights the fireplace, and
Yeah,
it's like,
she's
oh,
putting on all the
she's
moves.
setting the mood.
Puts on
She
music.
she made him a mixtape,
Yeah,
and it's like, again, I just thought this was really cute. Like,
yeah,
she's courting him
yeah, like,
in 1990s.
she's super smitten, it seems.
She is.
Yeah.
They
Well, okay, so they start talking first. They're, like,
Mhm.
making small talk on the couch.
Sure.
She's like, "Yeah, when I'm done being a lobbyist, I'm gonna buy a nice house like this in Cape Cod," and it's like, "Yeah, good for you, Mary Elizabeth."
She's got
Yeah,
goals.
she does. She asks Charlie if he likes her, and then, like, just grabs his hand in his, like, boobs.
Well, she feels his heartbeat,
Yeah, she's
and
like, "Oh, wow."
mine's beating fast too. Puts his hand right on her titties. So it's like, oh, she wants to do stuff.
Yeah. She's
And
not being subtle
no,
anymore.
and they do. They start kissing. She has him pull her dress down the shoulders a little bit. They fall onto the couch. At one point, they come back up, and it's very clear that Charlie's imagining Sam, which is like, come on, man.
Yeah, and, like, clearly a lot of time has gone by because, like, they're playing a record, and that thing has just been fucking spinning.
Yeah.
Like
It's not clear how far they went.
yeah, like, I don't know, I think
They might have had sex.
yeah, but, like, I'm not entirely sure, but her parents come home, and it's like, "Oh my god, they weren't supposed to be here, they were doing something racist."
She's getting back dressed.
Yeah.
So they went to at least some of the bases, if not all of them.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is a disaster because apparently now he's her boyfriend and he doesn't want to be.
Which
They're
is like, okay, but just tell her that because she's clearly so down for him. And he lists off these things that are annoying him about her. And it's like, these are just things that like a teenage girl would do.
yeah, she is a teenage girl with a crush.
Yeah.
She calls him when they get home from school and just talks,
Yeah.
and she wants to hold his hand
Yeah. All the
and
time. And
like,
he's like, oh, they're
"Oh."
sweaty.
Yeah, I was like, "God." Like,
Yeah. And it's
it's
like,
frustrating because they're not compatible. He doesn't like her music.
yeah.
She insults the books he likes to read.
Right.
So they don't really have anything to talk about. At the same time, it's like, well, hasn't this how did you not notice this before? Or
Right.
maybe it's just because you have feelings for someone else. everything seems worse,
Yeah,
maybe.
that's
That's
probably a
yeah,
lot of it, but yeah, he says he's tired of touching her boobs, and,
right.
like,
She got
then
into Harvard.
yeah.
Like, he could be a trophy husband for a future senator. He fumbled. This should have been
So
he should have possibly had sex with her. We should have had the credits.
okay, but this is a coming of age story.
Oh, I'm not gonna make the joke that popped into my head, so go on.
Anywho, so yeah, he's on the phone with her, literally puts it down, has a whole conversation with his parents, and then goes back to the phone. She's still talking, and we find out that they broke up. And Charlie says that he picked the worst way to be honest with her. So now
It
we
made
get
me
the
so mad.
story of how they broke up because he says they broke up, but then we get the story.
It was so dumb.
Yeah, Charlie is an idiot.
They're playing Truth or Dare. Patrick asks him Truth or Dare, and we get kind of an imagination sequence from Charlie about what'll happen if he says truth.
Yeah, which he says that, like, Charlie says that he keeps fantasizing that one of them, meaning like him or Mary Elizabeth, will die of cancer so that he doesn't have to break up with her. And it's like, oh shit, okay. So then it flashes back to like reality.
Yeah. And you think that would be a horrible way for them to break up. And you're like, oh my God, he said that? And
Yeah.
that's how they broke up? No, he does something even worse.
Yeah.
Because Charlie says dare. It's like, well, anything can't be as bad as what I
And
just imagined.
Patrick just does him like the biggest solid or thinks
Yeah.
he's doing him the biggest
Patrick
solid.
sets him up.
Like, you just like, man, like, because before this, Mary Elizabeth is like, I got into
Harvard.
Harvard.
It is hard to get
What?
in
Like, it's
to the
hard?
bird.
No, so she says, I got into Harvard. This one still hasn't bought me flowers, like gesturing to Charlie. So I feel like Patrick was really like, here, let me throw you a bone.
Yeah, I'm gonna smooth this over for
Yeah,
you.
you're just gonna
You're getting laid tonight, bro. I am setting you up. So Patrick's like, oh, Charlie, kiss the prettiest girl in the room. What
and
does Charlie's dumbass do? He kisses Sam
yeah, not his girlfriend
in front of his girlfriend
and
and
all
their
of their
friends
friends.
and God and Buddha.
Yeah, and Patrick's like, "Oh, that's fucked up." Like,
Yeah.
Patrick is like, "Oh, that's fucked up." So, clearly
Everyone just starts yelling at him.
yeah,
Mary Elizabeth storms out, as she should.
yeah, clearly everyone is, like, real mad. Sam's mad, Mary Elizabeth is mad, and Patrick's like, "Look, Charlie, you need to stay away for a while. Like, you clearly couldn't have known, but there's, like, a past between Sam and Mary Elizabeth, like, when it comes to guys, and you just stirred up all that shit again, my dude. So,
Yeah.
you need to not be here for a while."
Yeah, Charlie just, like, put a nuke in the fucking friend group.
Yeah. So he writes another letter that he hasn't seen his friends in 2 weeks, and it's starting to get bad again. We don't yet know what it is, but he says it's starting to get bad again.
Yeah.
Which brings us to another flashback of Aunt Helen crying, and we see Charlie as a little boy, and Aunt Helen is rubbing his hand. Which again is like, I think we as the viewers are kind of starting to piece together part of what Charlie's dealing with.
Yeah, and it's not up to, you see your aunt crying, and as a little kid, maybe you do feel bad, you give them a hug or something, but
Yeah.
it's not your job to do that.
Well, and it's not like he's comforting her. She's rubbing his hand. So I think it's like that sort of like, what
Yeah.
you doing, Aunt Helen? So yeah, we kind of get like sort of piecing together that Charlie might have some sort of like PTSD.
Yeah. We see Charlie's on the phone with Mary Elizabeth. He's trying to call everyone and apologize. She's like, "You need to stop."
Mary Elizabeth fucking goes off on him, and it's like,
Oh, and she should.
you clearly this goes back to that, like, be kind to people, you never know what they're going through, but, like, at the same time, she's kind of justified
Sure.
because, he's like, "Well, I'd, like, want our friends to be together again," and she's like, "Fuck you, you've known them for, like, 6 months, they've been my best friends since kindergarten.
Right.
Stop calling everyone, you're embarrassing yourself."
Yeah, and it is like, you feel bad for him because he's struggling with
Yeah,
something. At
like,
the same
we
time, it's
know
like,
he's struggling with his mental health, but they don't know that.
right, he still did something incredibly dumb, and
Right.
everyone makes mistakes, everyone does dumb things,
Everybody
but
makes
that's
mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about? No? Okay. Anyway,
yep, Anyway,
So Charlie meets up with Bob.
yes, this is about the most important thing Bob does in the movie.
Yeah, he gives us a fill-in that Patrick was caught by Brad's dad with Brad. The rumor around the school is that Brad got jumped, but the real story is that Brad's dad beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Charlie goes to school and he can see like Brad's face
yeah,
is messed up
real messed up.
and Patrick's upset. So Charlie tries to talk to Patrick and Patrick just brushes him off.
Yeah,
He's not in the
Patrick's like,
mood.
"Not now. Like, I got shit to do. I can't deal with you."
Yeah.
So Patrick is walking to his lunch table, and one of the football players trips him.
Yes.
So I think it's at this point Patrick is like very hurt and he's like, "Hey Brad, you gonna say something?" And Patrick asks Brad, like, "Hey, do your friends know how you really got those bruises?" And Brad calls him nothing and he calls him the F slur. Patrick punches Brad and Brad tackles Patrick and they're tussling. This scene's clearly like more Brad dealing with like internalized homophobia. Like he's hitting Patrick and Patrick's hitting him, but it's not like he's actually wanting to hurt Patrick. So yeah, the football players are not on that wavelength apparently because they start beating the absolute shit out of Patrick.
Yeah.
Brad was kind of just like hitting him like I'm gonna do this because I love you, but I'm really fucking mad. So they're just
I'm trying to get you off me.
yeah. The football players are like, "We're gonna kill you."
Yeah.
Like, quite literally. So we just see Charlie walk up and the scene goes black, and then it comes back, and all of the football players are on the floor. Everyone is in the cafeteria and staring at him, and he picks up Patrick and he tells the football players, "Touch my friends again and I'll blind you."
We actually get a shot of Charlie's hand and it's
Yeah.
very bruised and swollen.
Yeah, like, you can tell the football players are on the floor because of Charlie.
Yeah.
Like, he took them all down by himself, and he's sitting outside the office because clearly he's gonna have to talk to the principal.
Right.
And Brad is like, "Charlie, thank you for stopping them." So, like, obviously, Brad didn't mean for it to go that far, but it's like,
You could have stopped
you
this.
could've you could've stopped this.
You should have stopped this.
Yeah.
After school, as Charlie's leaving, people are kinda looking at him like he's hot shit.
Yeah, they're
Like, "Man,
like,
look at
"Dude, you
this
just
guy snapped."
fucking beat up the whole damn football team." Well, at least 5 of them. Like,
Right.
second string's gonna have to come in. I don't know. I don't know anything about football.
No, that was you might be right. Sam's waiting for him, and Charlie's kinda freaked out because he doesn't remember what he did.
Yeah, like, he
Uh,
blacked out.
yeah, and she's just happy that he saved her brother, and so he
Right.
asks if they can be friends again.
Right, yeah, because he's like, "I don't remember what I did," and Sam's just like, "I'll tell you what you did," and you're like, "Oh, she's gonna tell him what he did." No, she's just like, "You saved my brother's life, that's what you did," and it's like, "Aw." So they're good again.
Yeah.
Mary Elizabeth, they're now hanging out again, and she basically taps him on the shoulder, like, condescendingly but comforting, and is like, "I am dating a, serious person now. I'm dating Peter. He's an intellectual, and we actually have conversations, so
He's in college.
you blew it." And, like, she just looks like a librarian in this scene, so I'm like, "Oh, like, she started dating a college dude, and it changed her."
Right, and he Charlie doesn't give 2
Yeah,
shits.
he's like, "Okay, good for you. I'm glad
Right,
that we're
it's
good."
like, the plot line's resolved, and I'm just like, "Man, I shipped them real hard," and it was like,
Yeah.
it was no. Damn, I hate being wrong about that stuff.
Uh
Patrick and Charlie kinda hang out one-on-one, they have some bro time, they drive to an overlook, and they're just talking about, like,
I
urban
think he
legends and
takes
stuff.
him to Shenley Park, which was the AKA the Fruit Loop. I think
Yeah,
that's where he took him because that's where all the gay people basically hang out. That's where him and Brad would go sometimes.
yeah,
I think that's where he takes him. And yeah, he's like, "My life is an after school special now."
yeah. They start telling some, like, urban legends to each
Yes.
other, and then Patrick essentially just tells one that's exactly what happened with Brad's dad in the basement.
Yeah, well, because he gives Charlie a really good one, and Charlie's like, "Oh yeah, here's this like really boring story," and Patrick's like, "Okay, anyway, I'm gonna just tell you what happened." Like,
Uh,
small talk's over. So it gets very serious, and Patrick tells the story of what happened. So he says that, the dad starts beating Brad, and Patrick shouts, "Stop, you're killing him." And he says, the boy says, "Get out." and eventually the boyfriend does. And so that's what happened, and that sounds really like I don't give a shit. That's what
No.
happens, and
Well, and that's
that's the way the cookie crumbles. No.
well, no, that's how Patrick frames it, and
Yeah.
Patrick's in denial. He's like, "Oh, I'm free now. I don't have to waste my time on him." But he's clearly just destroyed
Yeah.
because he's going through a breakup. Of course, he's destroyed, and he's like, "I wish I could just meet someone nice who I don't have to do this shit with."
Yeah.
And he kisses Charlie and immediately feels bad. He's like, "I am so sorry. I shouldn't have done that," and
Yeah,
just
he
kind of
starts crying.
crying. And Charlie is just a good friend about all of this. He never, like, freaks out on him or anything. He
As
just
you
kinda
should.
yeah,
You
he's
shouldn't be
just
like,
li
"Oh my god, get fuck off. I'm straight. I like women.
right, he does
Don't touch me, you gay man."
because there's lots of guys who would do that,
Yeah.
especially high schoolers and especially in the '90s,
Right.
but Charlie's just a good friend about it and tries to, help
Yeah.
him through it.
And, like, both actors do so well with these roles,
Yeah.
but, like, this scene for Ezra Miller, I just feel like they did such a phenomenal job. Like, I
Oh, yeah.
think this movie was kind of people's first introduction to Ezra Miller, and it set them up for, like, such a good career,
Sure.
or what could have been such a good long-standing career.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Patrick and Charlie end up spending a lot of time together, and Charlie says that Patrick basically starts every night upbeat and then crashes out and is like numb the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Sam got into Penn State,
Yeah.
and this is basically what gets Patrick out of his sort of like depression. He's excited because now like he can focus on something. So he's gonna just focus on like Sam
Yeah. Well, and I think they go to Penn State together.
at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Okay,
We're still
I wasn't sure if he knew what college he got into yet.
no.
Okay. Well, yeah, so he focuses on that and
Yeah, he does a senior prank and he turns everything in the shop pink.
yes,
So that was
hilarious.
great. And then we so Charlie from our perspective has been doing pretty well, but then after this senior prank happens, he's just like things are getting worse and I can't control it.
Yeah.
So it's like clearly like we've been getting like a false narrative from him.
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson asks if anyone's gonna read for pleasure over the summer, and Charlie actually raises his hand, which is like, "Yay, participation!"
That girl who's been insulting him the whole movie kinda just rolls her eyes at him.
Yeah, she's like, "You fucking would."
Yeah.
Like,
It's
that's
like,
what her eye
"Fuck you,
rolls,
lady."
like, yeah, you would. And then Charlie tells him that tells Mr. Anderson that he's been the best teacher he's ever had. The bell rings, and in typical senior fashion, they all lose their minds, especially Patrick. He literally shouts.
Yeah.
And then Charlie says 1,095 days to go until graduation.
Yeah, he's clearly going through it because he's very happy for his friends, but he's like,
Yeah.
"I'm still gonna be here,"
Right.
and they're leaving.
Right.
We get kind of a going away party for Sam because part of her getting into Penn
You
State
skip
what did I skip? They ran up the bleachers.
No, they he had a whole hold on, my ear's so fucking itchy right now.
No, you itch in your ear stays in.
People are gonna be like, "That's so fucking gross." Well, you're not married to me, so fuck you.
Okay,
My
so
husband doesn't care. Anyway,
go on, I'll come back.
so Candace breaks up with Ponytail Derek. Thankfully, she is not gonna carry that with her.
Right.
Craig has been cheating on Sam the whole time.
Yes.
She found out, after prom, which is like, what? Prom is so fucking expensive from, what I understand because I didn't get to go. But I have an understanding that it was so fucking expensive. You, not only were you cheating on her, but she took you to prom. Like, you couldn't have fucking, broken up with her before that or,
Right.
come clean before that. Like, you literally waited until prom night. Like, man, that was supposed to be, her last hurrah.
Yeah.
So, fuck that guy. Patrick's graduation cap says, "Nothing hates you" on it, which I thought was really good.
Yeah. Okay. They go to Sam's going away party because part of her getting into Penn State is that she had to take a summer course right away. I think because her grades might not have been perfect, but they needed her right after graduation. So she's leaving immediately. Charlie wants to tell Sam about what he felt that night in the tunnel. He gives Sam all of his books.
Yeah.
He talks to her about Penn State because his brother has told him things about it. And like, oh, there's this diner you got to go to and get something called a grilled sticky on your first night. It's a tradition.
Which I think I've heard that in other, like, media.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this isn't the first, like, movie or, I wanna say there's, like, a show or something that also mentions this,
Oh,
so it
maybe.
has to be real.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be
It's in
real.
everything. They talk a bit about, Sam asks, like, why didn't you ever ask me out?
Yeah.
And, they talk about that. And eventually, Charlie gets to drop the Paul Rudd line of, we accept the love we think we deserve. And he didn't think that I did do that backwards. And then she asks why they didn't ask her out. And he replies that he didn't think she wanted that because,
Yeah.
he didn't think it was good enough. And she tells him that's not what love is. You can't put everyone in front of yourself.
Right, you can't self-sabotage and, like, sacrifice yourself and call it love.
But so they start kissing and they kiss a lot and they have some goodbye sex. It's implied.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the perk of being a wallflower the whole time was the goodbye sex.
Oh my god. So
During which we kind of get a little tiny flashback. She puts her hand on his leg and he recoils a bit
yeah.
because he flashes back to something very vague. And we don't know what it is yet.
Right.
And she's like, are you okay? Do you need to stop? And he's like, no, let's
Yeah.
keep going. And they start kissing again and they fall down onto the bed.
Yeah.
And it cuts to the next day as she's leaving.
Right, and then as they're leaving, he flashes back to her hand on his thigh.
Yeah.
So that, like, clearly that was something, like, very significant tied to the flashback.
Yeah.
Sam and Charlie kiss, and then she and Patrick drive away.
Yeah.
And then we get, like, the flashbacks of flashbacks.
Yup.
Like, Charlie is spiraling. So we get a flashback of Aunt Helen with her hand on Charlie's thigh, telling him not to wake his sister. And then Aunt Helen saying, "It'll be our little secret." Charlie gets back to his house in real time and starts banging his head on the wall and saying, like, "It's my fault. It's my fault." He's crying. He calls Candace because she's at a party. And he's like, "Did I kill Aunt Helen because she was getting my gift? Like, it must have been my fault." And Candace does, like, the very responsible thing of, like, telling her friends, like, "Hey, can
Call the
you"
police and send
Yeah.
them to my house right now.
Yeah, she knows, like, Charlie is going to hurt himself.
Yeah.
Charlie's like, "What if I wanted her to die?" And
And then he hangs
then
up.
yeah, we see him in a flashback comforting Aunt Helen as she's crying. In real time, he stares at a knife in the kitchen, and the scene sort of, like, cuts out a little bit, like, it gets very choppy, and then we see the police breaking down his front door.
Yeah. And he wakes up in the hospital,
Right.
like a mental facility. Remember when America had those?
Oh, they still do, they
Well, they're
just,
just not good ones.
yeah. Although, I will say, at least in our state, I don't know that we ever had good ones because I have heard some fucking horror stories. So I don't know, at least not for teenagers.
Mm.
Maybe that's the perspective I'm getting is because I was getting it from teenagers.
Oh, that could be.
So, who knows? But, the doctor is like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he's like, I can't be here. My dad can't afford this. I gotta go." And she's like, "No, no. Like, we gotta get you help." And his doctor, by the way, is I don't wanna say the wrong name. Joan Cusack?
Yes, I think. That sounds right. Joan Cusack.
I hope it is.
Apologies to Joan, Joanne, John, Juan,
Am I
June
mixing 2
Cusack.
2 actors together? If it was, like, something else and something Cusack, and I just, like, mushed them together and made this person.
Anyway,
No,
Joan
Joan
Cusack.
Cusack sounds right. We're gonna go with it.
Joan
That's who the
Cusack
doctor
helps Charlie at the
Yeah.
hospital.
He's like, "Can you help me stop seeing it? There's so much pain, and I don't know how to stop it." And the doctor's like, "Hey, who's Aunt Helen? And do you see her when you see things?" Because apparently Charlie was talking in his sleep, and he was talking about Aunt Helen.
Yeah.
And We get that he's in the hospital for a while.
It looks like the whole summer,
Yeah.
almost, or a
He
good chunk of it.
says there were good days, there were bad days. The doctor tells the parents what Aunt Helen did because apparently, yeah, they did not know. So, for whatever he was in the hospital for before this, they it was unrelated or it was related, but they didn't necessarily know like the why.
I think it was kind of another hurting himself situation, but they
Right.
never got to the bottom of it like Joan Cusack did.
Right.
That's why you
So
gotta call 'em the big guns. It's Joan
so
Cusack.
so his parents embrace him.
Yes, they do.
His brother and sister, like, visit him all the time until his brother leaves for football camp, so it's like, that's so nice. They're supportive of their brother, and then the doctor says, like, "We can't choose where we come from, but we can choose where we go from there," which is, like, solid advice, I feel like, to give a teenager, because, like, sometimes you come from, like, such shitty things, and people think that gives you an excuse to be shitty.
Yeah.
Or, like, you come from bad beginnings and you think you don't deserve a better life, and it's like, "Nah, you can't choose how it began, but to a certain extent, not taking in, like, access to food, access to healthcare, access to housing, you can choose where you go from there."
But we see that once he's out, Patrick and Sam have come to visit Charlie. They talk about Penn State.
You skipped I swear to fucking God, you doing supersonic, like, they're sitting around the dinner table awkwardly, and Charlie breaks the silence by asking about the penguins. You
Yes.
were like, "That's not important, fuck that."
I guess I didn't think it was him.
And then Patrick rings the doorbell and he's like, "Can Charlie come out and play?" Like, that's
Yes.
anyway.
Patrick and Sam have come to visit Charlie.
Yes. And they start talking about Charlie coming to visit them, and Patrick is like, "No, Charlie can't come. He has a planned breakdown for October." And it's like, that's such a nice moment where it's like you went through this really difficult time. Your friends are trying to lighten the mood, but also be supportive.
Right, like, and they feel comfortable enough with him, like, "We don't have to walk around eggshells on it. We're just gonna,
Yeah, we're gonna
tease you
address
and
it,
have
right.
fun."
Sam says she found the tunnel song.
Yeah, and she made Charlie a mixtape
Yeah.
'cause she loves him.
Charlie, um is in the back of the truck now, and he says basically to us, but he's writing this letter that he doesn't know if he'll have time to write letters because he'll be too busy trying to participate, which is like, "Yay, Charlie."
Yeah.
And then he does the thing that Sam did in the tunnel where he stands up and puts his arms out. So, that's how the movie ends.
Well, they smooch again. Charlie and
Okay,
Sam,
they smooch
they
again,
smooch again,
and that's how the
and
movie
that's how
ends.
the movie ends. Roll
Alright.
credits. Alright, what's your rating, darling?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you had me go first for Rent.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like if you rated this one really low, you're gonna hear what I said and you're gonna change it.
Okay, fine, I'll go first. I gave this movie 3.75 stars.
3.75 stars, 3.754 stars,
Oh, I
rounding up
gave
to
it
3 point
3 point se 3 and 3/4 stars. It's a very good coming of age movie.
read my
I
notes.
mean, I no. It's got a lot of good stuff in it. And I don't know, like, it wasn't a perfect movie by any means, but it's a very good movie. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to criticize about it. I guess you could give it 4 stars. It did a lot for me. I don't usually like coming of age movies because I feel like a lot of them are all the same.
Wow.
But in the way that Pretty Woman was like a better version of a rom-com where a lot of them are schlock. I feel like this is a better version of a coming of age story, and that it does a lot of things right. So, I guess, yeah, if you wanted to round up to 4 stars.
Oh, I'm allowed to? I can
Yeah,
do that?
yes, I will, we've come to an accord tonight.
Mr. Mac
As
tonight?
we've come to an accord, Mr. Mac, tonight for all you Markiplier fans out there.
All one of you. I don't know if any of your friends are. Sorry.
They might not be. Anyway,
Fucking love Markiplier. I could do a whole Markiplier podcast. Anyway, we're gonna talk about the movie.
that'd be
Okay.
weird.
I am giving this movie 4 stars. 4.
Okay, why?
I love a coming of age story. I fucking love them. I live for them. I think they're fucking fantastic. I rarely see a coming of age story that I don't like, and I do think this is definitely one of the better ones. I have not read this book, so I sometimes when I'll watch, like, a film adaptation of a book, I'll be like, "The book was better." I can't do that here, but I have to assume that because the author was so heavily involved, that it probably is a decent adaptation. I loved the characters, and I think it's, like, wild watching this movie now being, like, 33, um, and thinking Charlie is literally only a year older than our oldest, so it's, like, crazy to put that into perspective, like, holy shit, we're his parents? Not literally, but we're that age. That is us, like, but I think, it pulls at the heartstrings, it has a great soundtrack, it feels timeless because it's a coming of age story, and, like, also, I really do love Ezra Miller in this movie, despite whatever, because I'm not making excuses for any of it, like, they are so fucking talented, and I think this is just partly because of that performance that just made the movie so much better. So, yeah, 4 stars. I fucking loved it. It was great.
Well, that is our episode, and join us next time. We will review the crime thriller Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix one.
Is there another one?
No, but a lot of people have played the Joker.
What is the movie called? Is it even called The Joker, or
No, it's
is it
just called
just
Joker.
Joker?
It's not
Yeah,
even
so
the
are there
Joker.
any movies called Joker?
All right, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.